All right, so rapid weight gain is very, very dangerous to your body for a couple different ways. So let's break this down. So when we're talking about movement and biomechanics, your body has a special way that it's going to move. Whether that be walking, whether that be moving your arms, it's going to move a specific way. And in order to do that, it has to use your muscles, tendons, ligaments, and joints all very specifically to get that proper movement. Now, with all of that, we have what's called our righting reflexes that are going to work with our center of gravity to keep us upright. So what we need then is we need to have our center of gravity working with our righting reflexes, telling our body how it needs to utilize its biomechanics and movement patterns. All of it has to work in conjunction. So this is why some people, when they have an inner ear infection, it throws off where their righting reflexes are, where their center of gravity is. That's why they start to feel dizzy or nauseous, because where their body says their center of gravity is, their ear is telling them something very different. Now, the same thing happens with biomechanics. If you're moving to where it throws off your center of gravity, your body's going to change your movement to get you back to where it thinks you normally should be. So that's where weight gain comes in. Now, when you rapidly gain weight, it's going to change where your center of gravity is. Same thing if you rapidly put on a lot of weight, like a heavy backpack. When you put on this very heavy backpack onto your back, it shifts the center of gravity backwards, so now people start to lean forward. Now, when we put on a ton of weight, especially in our stomach, abdomen area, now our center of gravity has moved more forward, so we start to shift back. Now, what happens? Well, when we start to shift back, that means our lower back is going to increase its curve, but we can't walk around like this. So now our upper back and our neck have to bend forward, again, keeping our center of gravity. Now, with all of that, now that our center of gravity is equal or right over where it should be, the problem is now that in order to get that, we've compensated by decreasing or increasing our curves of our spine, which means now that we're going to change our movement patterns and we're going to overutilize some muscle groups and underutilize other muscle groups. This means that some muscles are going to be working too hard, too much. Some are going to be working too little, which if that happens and goes on for long periods of time, it means we're going to develop abnormal muscle growth in some and not the others. Things aren't going to be equal, and now we're going to create long-term issues just from a muscle overuse and underuse issue. That means that we're going to build up lactic acid in some muscle groups. We're going to have scar tissue developing in some muscle groups from that overutilization. But it also means that because our movement is changed, we're going to be putting pressure over some areas or some joints, some areas like the spine, more than they should be. When you put more pressure over a joint, what's going to happen is that joint's going to break down. And in case of the spine, that's where we start to get osteoarthritis or degeneration. So we start to get that due to that normal weight bearing over the joints. Basically, the joint is carrying more weight than it should. It should be equally distributed, but because of the rapid weight gain, it's changed our movement, it's changed our biomechanics. This weight is now held over an disproportionate area or amount of the actual joints, so they start to break down. That is why rapid weight gain is very, very dangerous. Forget about all the other health aspects. I want to talk from a biomechanical aspects, because then when you throw the other health aspects on, it becomes really, really dangerous.